Step into the damn bar, under neon haze, big beats reviews, got the crowd ablaze. Foam rising high like a toast to the moon. Every sip's a journey, every pint in tune. He's the prophet of
Welcome back, y'all, to the damn bar for another Big B beer review. All right, here it is, another homebrew. This one is the Winter's Slumber. It is a spiced ale from the Pinter Homebrew kits, brewed here in the Alanean Brewery in Zephyrhills, Florida, in my garage. Coming in at a pathetic 3.8% ABV. And yes, you heard me right, 3.8% ABV. This pathetic ABV, I keep calling it, I am very upset with this. This is a Pinter brew. This is not a collaboration brew that Pinter had. And it's supposed to be 7% ABV is how it's advertised. It's supposed to turn out 7% on the box. On the box, it says 7%. Yeah, anyway, so 3.8% Pinter, really? That's pathetic. Pathetic, come on. Why are all the Pinter homebrews falling short? Not just a little short, way short all the time. That's pathetic. How do I know this, you're asking? Thank you to Tilt. The Tilt hydrometer and it's the Pico and all that is an amazing device. It's an amazing tool for home brewers. I'll put a picture of the Tilt up here. And so the Tilt is basically floating around there. And it hooks up to the Pico, which I also have a picture of. So with this particular home brew, I actually recorded making it. So I'll go ahead and show you now the steps that I took to make this brew, including the use of the Pico and the Tilt. So the only part that's missing from these clips is a part where I condition. Take a look. All right, first up, we grab our Pinter. As you see, I got 3. Then I grab the brew to be made. As you see here, Winter Slumber, Pinter. This is one of their brews, so it says 7%. I'll be happy if it gets to 5. I bet it won't, because that's just how these Pinters are. But we will find out, especially thanks to the Tilt. Then I gather my water. Got my Tilt Pico on standby and my Tilt on there. And now we start. All right, now let's get started. Let's open this bad boy up. That's what it looks like on the inside. If there's a hop oil, it would come in this normally, but this one does not have one. There's your extract. Some facts. Not for direct consumption. Okay. Your purifier and your yeast. First up, we're going to use this. So normally you would start off by opening the app and following those directions. I already know them pretty well. I've done plenty of these so far. I got my Pinter. This has already been washed and cleaned. Go ahead and open it up. When I store this, I don't keep this tightened all the way because I've learned that it can be a pain in the butt to get loose even after storing it from being clean. Go ahead and open that up. The spigot's already on there good and tight. It's good and cleaned. I'm going to make sure. Yep, it's on 5. It's closed. This is the hot port. If we would have had an extra the oil, this is where you would add it at right before you start the conditioning. So, all right, put that down in there. Okay, I'm going to get the hot water going there. All right, now we add the purifier. I like to get a little air in there, make sure it gets it down. And then I cut it open. pour it all in there. I got the water running right now so it gets good and hot. So I like to use good hot water. Okay, oh yeah, it's good and hot. And then I'm lucky I got the spigot that I have that I can, or the faucet that I can come apart. Oh yeah. Now we're gonna fill this up to the black line that's in there. All right, as you can see, there's a black where the tank goes from white to black. They call that the fill line. You see the steam coming out of there, good hot water like that. What we have now is the purifier. It is a no rinse sanitizer. So after you do this, you don't rinse this, you don't add no more water or anything to this after you put the water in there. So next step, put the lid on. You want to make sure it's good and tight to where the handle can fold down all the way. Okay. Sharp objects out of the way. Now we're gonna shake this. It says for 30 seconds, but I shake it for, I go over 30 seconds until my arms get kind of sore, which will take long. But the handle comes in handy to pull it up. All right, the handle on the back there makes it nice to grab. I don't use the front handle for shaking because it's connected to the inner tube. And then you just shake for a long time. All right. Now that it's good and shaken up and all that jazz, it's time to sanitize the ports and whatnot. So now I'm going to turn this off. You heard that little steam there. Stand it upright. And now we are sanitizing the vent. As you see, it doesn't really sanitize much. My little trick, oops, if I can get it in the shot here, is I don't like the, I'm worried about you know what I mean, cleanliness. I just take the handle of my scissors and press on this to release air. And now it's really flowing through that valve. And you do it for about 10 seconds. All right, when that's done, remember to turn that back over to 5, which is closing it. I like to do this even though we don't have a hop oil for this brew. What you can do, I'm not going to actually do it, but you take this part. It's got this nifty part that comes out. And when you screw it back in there, it opens that up, and then you can sanitize your hop port the same way. Okay, now time to sanitize the spigot. Turn it around here, attach the handle. See how there's no airflow coming through? I'm gonna turn that dial back on to off on the other side. Again, I count another 10 Mississippis. All right, now I've closed the vent, remove the handle. Got it up right there, and next we're going to sanitize the dock. All right, there we go. We just line it up in that part there. Get it lined up. Press down and turn. All right. Then you want to make sure it's good and lined up like that, and then turn it upside down. You can hear it going down into the dock. And you just let that sit for another 10 seconds. Next up, spend a good minute. I like to let it sit in a little extra, time. But I'm gonna lift this handle to use a twist. This can be a pain in the butt. I'm gonna have to turn the camera off and cuss a lot so that I can get this off. So as soon as I turn the camera off, everything goes smooth. But the camera's on, it's a pain in the ass. I'm gonna grab me a glass, pour the sanitizer into it. I'm gonna dump the rest of that out of the dock and let that sit upside down somewhere. Then, all right, I'm taking my tilt and put it in there. I hold it down there too with that, because that way it's not already tilted, and because as soon as it floats, it activates. But sanitizing that, I'll let that sit somewhere for a while. Out of the way, there we go. Forgive me, guys. I'm not good at this type of recording yet. All right, now we open this back up. I usually keep this like that onto the side. And then we dump the rest of this purifier out. We're done with it. I also like to attach this and get any extra purifier that's in the spigot out. Now, let's start making a beer. Step 1, the water. You can use it refrigerated. I just got room temperature. And again, we're only filling it to that black line up in there. Now, we add the beer extract. You want to get every last drop. Now, we put the yeast in. Put the top on. And then we shake it up again for a full minute. That's a workout. Normally, this is where you just attach to the dock and let it sit. But I am doing the extra step here. I'm gonna open it back up. Got the tilt that's been sanitizing. And that no rinse sanitizer. And in it goes. Then I close it back up. And the dock should go right on. There we go, and then invert it. Now I'm going to move it to its new home. All right, there it's going to sit on this table. I know the paper towels are a useless effort, and if it actually does leak, this pray it never does. I've never had that problem. But now the Pico comes into place. Just simply go right over here where it's close by. Boom, boom. Let me hang this sucker up. And now the rest takes place on the app. All right, so I go into my app, the Tilt app first. I've already got it set up, but what it would do, it would recognize that you go into the one, I had to erase the old brew. You would tap Tilt Pico, start logging, but it's already logging. I've already done this, but this is where you hit the information and you put in all that information and whatnot, but it's already doing that. I got the name, did that. You can do that up here in the settings. All right, you got the Tilt Pico is going to town there. Now that part's done. I can tell you right now, that is not a good original gravity. That is pathetic. Pathetic. This thing is supposed to be a 7% brew when it's completed. Even if that ferments down to 1.000, it's not going to be a 7%. These Pinter brews, the ones that come from Pinter, have all been pathetic. The ones that collaborate with other breweries have been great. This is proof right here. 1.037 as the original gravity is pathetic. So, all right, let me go back and go into sheets. Go into the Slumber, and there we go. As you can see, it's starting to track. Right there, it's got some recording going on. Gives you all, and this is like where you can see the ABV. I'll go into another one here. This is the last one I did. And you see the graph and everything and the report. Look at all those, you know, and it kept track of it and told me the ABV and what report this one's from, because it's showing a different ABV than what it turned out to be. So normally when you go into your Pinter app and you set it up, it gives you your date. I'm going to select my Pinter down here, and as you can see, it's showing, and you can do the following the step-by-step instructions on here. Right now it's in brewing, and then it shows on the 27th is when I'm going to take it off the dock. I'm going to take it out off the dock, disconnect it, and then put that flat, which we'll get. I'll record all that. You'll see it. So, and then it should be ready on the 2nd. But I'm not going to put the condition it until the tilt shows me that it's been sitting at the same gravity for 2 days at least, knowing that it's done fermenting. But that's how you do it, and we'll get back to it. I'll see you again when it's time to condition. So, as I said, the only part that's missing from that is the conditioning, where I took it off the dock and threw it in the fridge, and it sat in the fridge for a week. So, but there you saw all the steps. That's, I got the thermometer in there, the hydrometer in there. It's still in there, but after you condition, you don't really need to worry about, I disconnect the Pico and all that. But yeah, and if it wasn't for the Tilt, thank you Tilt again, I'll be like, oh, what the hell? This is great beer, probably, which we don't know yet. So, I don't know about you guys, but it's time to get into it. All right, here we go. The first pour of the winter's Slumber. It is a spiced ale. And here we go. First pour. Now, many of you might also be watching, and you might be Pinter brewers saying, oh, well, you must not have conditioned it or fermented it long enough. Hell, with the Tilt in there, I basically left the Tilt in there, and you should be able to see the data that I'll put up at some point. But I let it go until I noticed the fermentation was done. It stayed the same for several days. So it ain't like that's the issue. Very cloudy. But that's not bad. That's normal for like a spiced ale. Oh. Doesn't have a pleasant smell. Like I said, very cloudy. Maybe this might have been a bad batch too. It's very possible. You guys can tell me in the videos, the clips that you saw, what I might have done wrong, if I did anything wrong. I gotta say, it's got like a feet smell. Yeah. Yeah, like a feet smell. Not that. That's not very appetizing. Let me get a little nip of the head. Malty, a little spicy, like you can taste the spices and stuff. All in all, not bad. Bitter, got a bitter finish on the head there. Okay, not bad. Yeah. Anyways, take a look. All right, there it is. Still pretty cloudy. Not bad though. I don't know how clear it's supposed to be for it's a spiced ale. Good head retention and lacing going on there. Love that color, the way the light hits it. All right. So color-wise, I'm gonna say it's about a 15, 16. All right, crack them open, pour them up. Let's get to drinking. All right, I topped it off a little bit there. All right. That smell threw me off, so I'm a little worried. But there ain't nothing to it but to do it. Salud! And after I topped it off, the smell's actually a little better. It smells more like a beer, like an ale. There you go. Huh. Okay. Because of the ABV being so low, I was expecting it to be under fermented and be sweet. There's no sweetness. It's actually got a good taste. It's got a nice, real crisp bite, dry finish. It's got that spicy, malty taste, like star anise and coriander, not coriander, the clove. It's got some clove going on in there, some cinnamon. All in all, it's a winter ale. I get that. Spiced winter ale. I get that. I figured you're probably like, what the hell? It's in the, where are we at now? April, May. We're in May. And I'm drinking, making a winter's slumber. Because you think winter is in slumber, right? Winter went to bed. Why not? Well, And I don't know. I had it, so I brewed it. I forgot about brewing it in wintertime. Maybe it would have came out better in wintertime? I doubt it. But this ain't bad, actually. They never tend to be bad. The only bad thing about this is 3.8%. If I would not have the tilt in here, drinking this right now, I would, kind of think it's close. But I don't know. I don't taste the booziness. But it doesn't taste like it does taste like beer. That dry and crisp bite, that might be in it. I'd be like, okay. But there isn't a booziness at all, which obviously 3.8%. But I wouldn't know any better. I'd probably be like, okay, they hide it well, is all I would say. And I would probably be all happy-go-lucky. But thank you to Tilt again. I'm telling you guys, if you're a home brewer and you're using this, the Pinter, it's the way to go. Because trying to use a hydrometer is kind of difficult. A refractometer, those work okay for this, but I'm not good at working that thing. I just can't get mine. I got a cheap one, I guess. So I'm used to hydrometers, and this thing is just so easy. As you saw in the videos, you just toss it in there, and it gives you, good readings. I've used it so far with many different brews, as a matter of fact now, and you're probably like, oh, well, maybe it's not reading right. Maybe something, no. I've used it in the Pinter several times, as you can tell from other videos that I've done, and it's giving me accurate readings. I make sure that it's right. It's not giving me false readings. This is a 3.8% brew, and it's supposed to be 7. And it ain't. The tilt was accurate. It's not the tilt. I guarantee if I would have pulled samples and done it with a hydrometer, I'd have the same readings. As a matter of fact, if you look again on this, I'll try to put it up here. You'll see the readings. I don't know if it's in that picture. There was a high reading. The low reading only lasted for not even an hour or so, and then it went back up to 3.10. So technically, this isn't even really 3.8%. It's more like 3.58. Pathetic. But it's still a very drinkable beer. I'm not going to pour it out by any means. But this is something I can just drink with everything. I mean, you probably have to drink most of this to catch a buzz. Not really. That is not bad though. It's got a medium body to it. I like that crisp dryness to it. The breadiness to it as well. I think food-wise, this would compare well with many dishes. Breakfast. I think this would pair well with some scrambled eggs and some sausage. Maybe even like an English breakfast, which I've never had. I really want to try blood pudding with someday. But with their fried bread and the beans and all that, yeah, I've tried that. I think that'd be good with that, especially at this low ABV. No, even if it had the full ABV, I think it would be a totally different beer. So with that being said, on the interwebs, this gets a 3.7 on Untapped with 140 check-ins or reviews. Alrighty. Would I buy this beer again? I'll put any pricing information up here next to me. Basically, after taxes, I paid $38.51 for the kit, which roughly makes easily 12 pints. I have measured it. You get more than 12. So these numbers actually... So that's about $2.51 a pint, or give or take, more like take, probably be like less than that. About 15 cents an ounce. That's not bad on the price. Hell no, I ain't buying this again. Even though it's delicious, if it was 7%, I would buy this one again all the time. This would be, I love the flavor of it and all that, but I feel like if it did get the 7%, it would be a totally different beer. So, no, I'm not buying this again. Fair warning to all you Pinter brewers out there. And if I'm doing something wrong, let me know, because every single time I use a Pinter brew, just the Pinter brews by themselves, they always fall short of their advertised ABV. I've discovered that using the tilt. So, yeah, every time. And all the collaboration brews, the Appalachian, and everything else that is a collaboration brew with another brewery have hit the mark or exceeded it. They have met the ABV, or I think there's maybe one that fell a little short, but it was still by really close, like point something off. It was not even that much. Whereas the Pinter brews by themselves always fall way short, way short. Come on, 3.8% is supposed to be 7. I'm gonna rave about this. So I'm pissed off. I wanted a 7%. I paid for a 7% beer. Pathetic Pinter. Yeah, it tastes good, but boy, I mean, nobody's probably even knowing because they don't use the hydro. I hope they watch this video and it inspires them to start taking samples and finding out, you know. So, anyways, with that being said, Big B beer review grade, memory bells, 5 bad bells because of the low ABV. Craveability now. It is a good flavor. I like this actually quite a bit. I'm going to give it a 7 on the craveability. 7 out of 10. Big B beer review grade. This one gets a D plus. A D plus. And yes, that grade is reflected upon because of the ABV. Sorry. It's pathetic, Pinter. That's just pathetic. So, if y'all brewed this before, let me know in the comments below if you've had luck, if you've been, and tell me how you use your, you know, how you measure your gravities, if you use a refractometer or whatever. You know, just let me know what you got. Have you had success? Have you had it up to 7%? And have you noticed something in these videos that I did wrong that would have caused it? Because I squeezed every last drop out of that damn pack and shook the crap out of it for well over a minute. That part, you know, I don't know if it was in the video or not, but you know, I shook the crap out of this damn thing. I shake I need to get me one of those damn paint mixers, right? But that'll probably break this. You know what I'm talking about? Some people say they use sanitize a hand mixer and put it in there and stuff like that. But I've never had any problems. Like I said, with all the other brews, especially the collaboration ones, they come out fine with the same methods. It's just the Pinter brews that always fall short. Test it out yourself. Let me know what you guys think. I hope you all have enjoyed watching this as much as I've enjoyed drinking it. If so, please hit that thumbs up button. It helps the channel out big time. It really does. And don't miss out. I got more home brews going. I got Mr. Beer Brews brewing away. And conditioning as well. I got 1 brewing and 1 conditioning. I'm going to be doing another one of these as soon as I finish this off because I want to use that tilt hydrometer. I'm definitely going to have to get another one. So don't miss out by subscribing. It's completely free. It doesn't cost anything. Come on. It's 21st century and you get something free. Come on, you can jump on that, right? So anyways, hope to see you guys here at the Dan Bar for the next one. Till next time, salute and happy days.